My name is Jada from Republika FM1 and welcome to the second season of Young Juans. Honestly, we didn't think, we'd go for another season because each month we hoped that the pandemic would be over and we'd all be able to go out again. But lo and behold, we are spending another school year in the comforts of our own home. This season, though, our own homes. This season, though, Young Ones is a wee bit special because we are partnering with FOI, or Freedom of Information, and its FOI Youth Program. Also, I have a co-host for the second season for a more informative and fun chat with the youth of 2021. Youth of 2021, wow, whatever that means, right? Let's welcome to our screens FOI Program Training Specialist 2 from the PCOO, Deniel Echevarria. Deniel, hello!
Hi, Miss Jada, and hi, Young Ones. Thank you for having me here and for the rest of the season.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's such a pleasure because I've been working with FOI for many years now, for the past 4 or 5 years, and they've been so nice. And they have an FOI youth program, so it's really it kind of meshed with the Young Ones podcast. So Daniel, we'll get to know Daniel in this first episode of Young One Season 2, and of course more about the FOI Youth Program. But first, Daniel, I know FOI has been around for so many years, but there are still crevices in the interwebs and probably in the Philippines where nobody is aware of the freedom of information. So tell us, what is FOI, Daniel?
So FOI, first, the actual definition of the term. So it can be defined as a right to information or right to access information held by the government. So it is actually recognized by the United Nations as one of our human rights fundamental to our right to expression. Like in simpler terms, Ms. Jada, like mahirap exercise yung right to expression without FOI. So for example, how can you tell if your local government is really implementing the project if you can't ask them? And if you can ask for an update, how can you hold them accountable? And how can you express grievance if you don't have access to information that will point out their shortcomings? So FOI is also fundamental for us citizens to have access to any other rights and privileges. So for example, if you want to avail government scholarships, and you want to ask which government institutions are providing financial assistance, then you can ask that through FOI. And if you want to know some like nitty-gritty about a government infrastructure because you're going to purchase a house, so you can ask DPWH because it is part of our EFI portal. And if you want to simply know if the market vendor is selling you overpriced goods, so you can ask the SRP in DTI. So, well, FY is a right that, if exercised by people, can make them informed decision makers. Para hindi lang tayo asa sa, chika lang, tsaka hula, Ms. Jada. So, yun, yung...
Yes.
Diba? So, yun, isa namang term, FY as a program. So, this is where I work. So, FY Project Management Office. So, this is a government mechanism to allow Filipino citizens like us and our viewers to request any government information about government transactions and operations, which is, of course, subject to exceptions like personal information and matters of national security like that. And this is a product of Executive Order number 2. So, executive branch pa lang ang covered niya. So, hopefully, mapasa na yung FOI bill, Ms. Jada, para hindi lang executive, judiciary, and legislative branch din. So, basically, that's it, Ms. Jada. Yung 101.
Yes. Okay. So, it's this government aims for transparency talaga, in all its departments and all its agencies, and FOI is here to make sure that our government is doing that exactly.
Yes, Ms.
Being
Jada.
transparent.
Pati yung trainings that they have to undergo. We provide that for them, and also policies. So that's part of our work. Of course, led by Yusek Chris Ablan.
Hey, Ate Chris. Ay, Yusek na. Yusek na now.
Yusek
Okay,
na siya.
hi. Shout out to Yusek, Chris. Hi. Thank you so much for lending me Daniel for this podcast. So Daniel, now that you've given us like a 101 on the on FOI, let us talk about the FOI Youth Ambassadors Program. This is very interesting because it's so nice that you actually included the youth in your program. So tell us more about this one. How did you come up with this, like, and also why? Because it's something different. It's something that not every other government agency they come up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't
Yeah.
really think about the youth as much. They just think of the citizens. Yeah, pero the
Yeah.
youth like under 18, no, diba? So tell us about this.
So we analyzed based on our 2019 and 2020 statistics that huge chunk of EFOI requests are lodged for academic purposes, and most users are coming from the academe. So, well, that's the dream, but we still feel like we still have much work to do to until the use of FOI as a research tool in the academe becomes a norm. So gusto namin maging term siya, Miss Jada, like if they don't have any thesis subject, they can simply say, well, just browse FOI, EFOI portal, or if they are having a hard time with their assignment, they could just simply say, EFOI mo yan. So ganun. And there
No.
are 112 state universities and colleges, Miss Jada. So we can't
Mm-hmm.
go to each one of them. It's just financially and logistically impossible for us. So we thought that maybe we can penetrate the academe if we create a network of student leaders. So hindi lang sa Miss Jada ang networking, sa gobyerno din. So, and
No.
we
Oh.
make them our partners for FY implementation para at least ma-branch out yung FY advocacy from the national government level down to the SUCs. So, hence the creation of FY Youth Ambassador Project.
Wow, that's awesome. Now, so you told us 112 state universities, so they're
Yes.
all included, okay, in the FOI Youth Ambassadors Program. All the state universities.
They are covered, pero because the FOI Youth Ambassador Project is launched through the FOI Youth Ambassador Camp, and we only conducted the Luzon leg of the camp. So, mostly Luzon pa lang ang kasama. Kaya, yun, parang kalahati pa lang, Miss Jada. Or
Kasi inabot nga tayo
one-third.
ng pandemic.
Yes, pandemic. Panira ng plano
Inabot tayo
talaga.
ng pandemic. Okay, so tell us, okay, pre-pandemic, what were your
Yes.
activities in the FOI Youth Ambassadorship?
So pre-pandemic, so I assume before nung ECQ, Miss Jada, no? So we had this FOI Youth Ambassadors Camp on March 2 to 4, 2020. So it's a 3-day training para mahone yung leadership skills ng mga bata and their FOI knowledge. Para pagbalik nila sa campuses nila, they can implement their FOI-related commitments. So, there. So, part then is yung preparation. So, we at FOI made sure that the program is tailor-fit for the students. So, during the camp, they had of course, FOI-related trainings, FOI program, orientation on how to use EFOI portal, of course, and there's also a youth leadership training provided by National Youth Commission and
Mm,
communications training also para at least in terms of public speaking, mahon din sila. Kahit alam naman namin, Miss Jada, na kayang-kaya na nila yun kasi nga they excel in their respective universities naman na.
true.
So pre-pandemic, basically that's it yung mga ginawa namin for the program.
So that's what you were doing before the pandemic hit. Now, what about activities you started when the pandemic started? How did these activities go for the FOI Youth Ambassadors Program?
So yun, Miss Jada, it was very unfortunate that just a week after the camp, nag-ECQ buong Luzon. So yung mga bata, kahit ang
Ooh.
dami nilang plano sa kanilang universities, syempre after the camp, mainit pa yan, bibong-bibo pa sila. Pero na-put on hold kasi nag-ECQ bigla. Buti na lang, hindi
Aw.
inabutan yung mismong camp. At least meron silang nabuong mga friendship, ganun. Pero yun, it was
Mm-mm.
a long pause kasi second to third quarter, we are always waiting for updates kung anong CQ na ba tayo, di ba, Miss Jada? Tapos,
Mm-hmm.
kasama pa sa
That's right.
problem ng kids is how they are going to push through with their ACADS and how the schools also namomroblema din sila because they don't know how they're gonna cope up with the situation. Kasi even by August, the modules are still a problem, di ba? So we
True.
plan to, conduct a virtual meeting by the last quarter of 2020. But then, nagkaroon naman ng sunod-sunod na bagyo. So, finish na lang namin
Tama.
na this year na lang. So, we had Zoom mustahan. So, kamustahan via
Mm-hmm.
Zoom because we simply wanted to know how the kids have been doing in their community, their school, and their family. And sila mismo, we simply wanted to check out on them. So, some ambassadors, despite the pandemic, were able to implement their action plans, and we're very glad about it. So
Mm.
the Zoom Mustahan became an avenue for them to present their projects, FOI implemented projects, and it also served as an area of consultation. So yung mga may challenges in terms of implementation of their action plan, so they were able to address it during our Zoom Mustahan.
Oh, that's nice. At least, you were able to reach out. And how very reliable was the internet connection during the Zoom mustahan? I'm sure, there were kids going in and out
Yeah.
of the Zoom room, right?
Kaya, Miss Jada, we were trying to monitor the number of the attendees because we are anxious na baka konti lang yung umattend. And yun, sobrang, minsan kumukonti yung participants, tapos minsan nagjo-join sila. So, pero expected na especially those living in the mountainous areas. So, hindi talaga
Yeah.
reliable ang internet connection nila.
But I'm sure there were other things, other problems that you went through during the pandemic with regards to the ambassadors program that you were able to troubleshoot. But what was the most challenging one that you encountered when you started going online, full on for the ambassadors program?
Sa akin as the FOI student youth ambassador project lead, it was very hard for me to reinitiate the engagement. Kasi baka parang iniisip ko
Mm-hmm.
yung dating, Miss Jada, if parang is it okay if I reach out? Maybe they have their problems in their academes and then I'm going to follow up for their action plan. Parang parang saan papasok yung pagiging empathic as a
Uh-huh.
public servant. Pero anyway, nakikita ko din na isang naging problem before yung conduct nga nung re-engagement with them is yung technology. Kasi when we
Mm-hmm.
sent out invitations, it was very discouraging, of course, on our part that some youth ambassadors were telling us that merong rotational brownout sa kanilang LGUs and mahina yung
Oh.
internet connection kasi mountainous ang area nila. So, also, there's actually some youth ambassadors na meron silang action plan but they weren't able to attend the Zoom.
Mm.
So, sayang naman. So, they just did a video recording instead kasi sayang naman, accomplishment nila yun. So, ayun, Miss Jada, technology,
Mm.
tsaka, ayun din, on how to reach out kasi mahirap din.
Yes. Yes, that's right. We are islands, 'di ba?
Yeah.
And not just that, there are mountain ranges. Not everything in this country is flat.
Yeah.
And there, 'di ba? So, but right now, compared to when you guys began, no, I want to know how. Of course, everything and everybody, they're starting to bounce back. So how is that? How is that right now? Like dati, let's say when you guys started 10-20%, what's the percentage
Yeah.
now in terms of response from your students?
In terms of number, Miss Jada, I can't measure pa, pero as what I observe in terms of their engagement in our Facebook group, at least mas marami na
Mm-hmm.
yung responsive. Uh, and also, some ambassadors are starting to reach out to us on how they're going to push through with their FOI project. So, nagiging assertive na sila. And we're really glad about it. So, at least na-push through na yung mga plans nila before they graduate. Kasi, well, yung iba kasi parang pandagdag yun sa accomplishment nila when they apply for a job. So, at least meron kaming nagagawa naman
Totoo.
about that. So, also, they are starting to collaborate with each other. So, for example,
Mm-hmm.
Kalinga State University FOI Youth Ambassadors conducted an FOI workshop. And while they are the ones who took care of the logistics part, they commissioned Dan, the FOI student ambassador of Nueva Vizcaya State University, to be their speaker. So it's just nice that they are reaching out with other ambassadors too, because I think there's a formed camaraderie because of the
Mm-hmm.
youth camp. And sana magkaroon ng Visayas and Mindanao para at least buong Pilipinas na talaga.
Oh, that would be so exciting, especially for the kids. You know, it's so much easier right now to reach out because of
Yes.
the internet. Maybe before they wouldn't think of that. They'd think that they physically want to be there, but now because of Zoom and other platforms, it'll be so much easier to reach out to other students in other parts of the Philippines. But right now, I'm sure there are viewers and there are listeners who want to be part of the FOY Youth Program. Where do they go if they want to be part of the Ambassadors Program for FOY Youth?
So, okay. So, if you are a student leader or the head of your university school paper and you're interested to be your university's youth ambassador, kindly send us a message of your intent at foi.pco@gmail.com. So you can also search for my name in this video and simply message me in my Facebook account.
Well, what's that again? Where do they go again? Where do they submit? One more
As
time.
just submit your like letter of intent at foi.pco@gmail.com.
All right, so
Yeah.
that's very nice to know, and of course, in the duration of the season, we'll be repeating that address, that email address that they can refer to, okay,
Yes.
throughout the season, because I'm sure a lot of kids, especially those who are watching us or listening to us from Visayas and Mindanao, want to get in touch since naantala nga siya because
Yes.
of the pandemic. The rounds that you were making. So you only started with Luzon. That be so much. It's gonna be so much more fun and of course informative if we include our students from Visayas and Mindanao. So we will find out more about FOI Youth and the FOI Youth Ambassadors Program in the coming episodes. But for now, yan muna. Yan muna from Deniel. We will see her again in the next episode. And then, of course, all the episodes for the second season because she is going to be co-hosting with us. Yay! Because, she knows more about the FOI Youth Ambassadors Program. And, of course, we are still going to be talking to students or to the youth ambassadors in the coming episode. So that's it for now. We'll see you in the next episode of Young Ones. You can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Young Ones PH. And of course, do not forget to send in your messages, requests, and what have yous at Republika FM1 Manila on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and also on Twitter at Republika FM1.
The Radio Republic of the Youth, Republika FM1 brings you Young Juans Season 2 in partnership with Freedom of Information Philippines and the FOI Youth Ambassadors Program.
Young Ones.
Wednesday nights only on Republicast, on Republika FM1 Facebook page, Spotify, and YouTube.